Hey friends, this is Marilyn from Tarot Clarity, and today is actually Halloween, but this is going to be viewed a few days after that, and it will actually be viewed on All Saints Day, which is November 2nd, I think. Now, of course, Halloween was so popular in the pagan tradition that the Christians either had to join it, because they couldn't beat it. So they, I think, created their own, if you can't beat them, join them kind of holiday, as they did with most of the other holidays, and case in point, Christmas, right? So what they did was they established a All Saints Day for the day after Halloween, which evolved into All Souls Day as well. So it's like a 2-day holiday whereby we honor those of our loved ones who preceded us and passed on. And, maybe it's a good day to go tend a grave, put a few flowers at a grave. Maybe it's a good day to donate in a particular cause that was important to somebody that you loved. There's any number of ways that we can honor our loved ones who left and went before us. And this read is not going to necessarily be on that, although I will be using a deck that I think is perfect for the occasion. It's not a deck that I use very often, probably once a year. And it is the Santa Muerte Book of the Dead Tarot deck by Fabio Listrani. It's a beautifully illustrated deck with all kinds of macabre imagery, and it's fun, and I think it's just perfect for this time of year. And as a matter of fact, although you're seeing this 2 days late, I think it's on my list of 13 tarot decks to use for Halloween. So if you don't have it, put it on your list for next year. It's a fun deck. If you are into using certain decks for certain times of year, I like using it on the day or two after for honoring the souls of our loved ones. So I have to come up with an appropriate question. I'll flip the camera and I'll be right back. Okay, I came up with a crazy question, so bear with me. It's going to take a leap of faith. But I was sitting here trying to come up with a question, and I was thinking about, how who is probably on his last legs, although we've been saying that for a year. And it's like occurred to me, what if there is something, because I don't know how the universe works. I don't know how all this works, I just know that I'm lucky enough to be part of it. But I don't claim that I know how all the integral details, right? So what if, when we come into this life, we do choose who we'll be born to, or what the circumstances are, or what our mission might be? There are people who believe that. It's a distinct possibility. I don't know. So going on the thought that somebody had to take on this horrific role to teach the world what not to do. Is it possible that people like who and the guy over in Germany 80 years ago, 90 years ago, is it possible that they said they'd take one for the team in their contract with the universe? I don't even want to give them that much of the benefit of the doubt. I really don't. But is that possible? And so if that's the case, my question is, what was their mission? Is it just solely to remind us that we can't let this kind of stuff happen, or this is what happens when you're greedy and when you go overboard? Is this what happens when that occurs? Do we have to have a reminder every 100 years about that? Or is there a different lesson? Because we're having the same lesson twice within 100 years, and in other countries, it's been happening all along. So it doesn't seem like it's a lesson that humans are learning, because it's happening all along. So what's the message? What's the message that we're supposed to be getting? I think that's an interesting one. Let me flip the camera and we'll get started. To the best of my ability, I'm going to be using my signature spread. For those of you who are interested in knowing how to do this spread, I have a tutorial called Tutorial of My Signature Spread. So you can just do a search, like tutorial of, I think it's called Marilyn's Signature Spread, something like that. But it's in my playlist. Look on my playlist and you'll find it. So I'm not really sure how this deck will work out. It's kind of larger, and I'm not as familiar with it. I use this deck, like I said, maybe once a year. Okay, so we have 2 of batons. We see weapons. We see corruption, right? We have a person who's probably not a good guy, right? He's wearing red, too. Interesting. He's flooded in red. Not that that has any significance with politics of today, but it's the energy of that. Could be the energy of that. And I'm going to show each card up because I don't think they'll show well from a distance. So we have the Tower. Wow. So, wow, look at that. We have a little bit of an Escher-esque kind of staircase going on with a skull at the top. And people in various degrees of, like, let's see what she or he is doing. Somebody's looking out the window or out of a balcony. So it's just a real shake up. All right, so corruption has to shake up. You know, if it's a sentence, I don't know if it's a sentence. Corruption has to shake up what? 3 of Pentacles. Well, I just pulled this card for the morning short, which is interesting, which I interpreted as, you know, nurturing something that a loved one did before us. But that doesn't mean that we're locked into that meaning, especially into, you know, it's a perfect example of interpreting a card to answer a particular question. So if we look at this as corruption, the end, you know, corruption ending what? I don't know if this would be seen as greed. I don't think this card can be seen as greed, however. But it could just be a card of starting over from the beginning and trying to get it right from the ground, you know, ground roots, right? From the grassroots, trying to get it right. So corruption, shakedown, starting over. Okay, that makes sense. We have another 3 swords and, you know, backstabbing under the card of corruption. Front and center of the core 9, we have King of Cups, gluttony. So his mission might have been to show what gluttony does. I mean, he's gluttonous in lots of ways, you know, and I'm not trying to shame the guy because he's fat, because I'm fat too. I try not to be, however. You know, I can't remember the last time I had McDonald's, French fries, and Coke for anything like that. You know, I have like an avocado every day. I drink chai every day. You know, I'm trying to do everything right. I'm trying to do as much right. You know, unfortunately, my body doesn't cooperate, so I can't get as much exercise as I need. But this could be gluttonous in other ways other than just being a person who just overindulges in food or drink. It could be greed. It could be greed of money. We have the Fool. Certainly making reckless decisions. We have this guy and this guy next to each other, and they look similar. The same kind of hat, same kind of sombrero, tilted in the same direction. Imbibing, being gluttonous, and then making reckless and careless decisions. It'll be very interesting to see what happens here with the Quint card. We have another 3. So we have the power of 3 in this spread. So it's growth. Now this is celebration with family. This is a happy time. So 3 can be nurturing. 3 could be, according to this deck, not necessarily the way I understand pip cards, but I'm interpreting this particular deck. 3 could be understood as nurturing. It could be understood as dangerous, right? As dangerous. And it could just be seen as celebratory. We have to make our choices, right? We have to make our choices. What kind of way we'll take it. Here we have, temper. Okay, we have to temper, literally temper our vices, right? This falls under vices. So the question is, what was his lesson? What was his intention, rather? Like, what was our lesson supposed to be? Why do people like him, the reason people like him exist, if they take a contract, maybe they don't. Maybe there's no soul contract. Maybe he was just living his life the way he lives his life, and the universe said, yeah, we need to have some of those kind of people, which is maybe why they don't intervene, because humanity has to learn lessons. And so that's the point of this. Okay, we have, that ends with they call it the Hierophant or the Pope, which is an orthodox kind of lifestyle. Adherence to rules and strict dogma. He's got a little Ouija board. So there's an adherence to strict dogma, like my way or the highway kind of thing. This is very interesting. So there's a lot of things. Like, I think we're coming away with the energy of 3, nurturing, enjoying life. But there's pain and suffering too. There's pain and suffering involved with corruption, a need to destroy it. And front and center of the core 9 is overindulgence. Now, we only have one pentacle or one coin card up there. That's all we've got. So I can't particularly say that the overindulgence is greed, but gluttony is greed. And it's across all platforms. And certainly making reckless decisions, particularly for other people, let's see what comes after this, is reckless. It's unconscionable. Let me pull the quints and see what we have. Alrighty, so here are the quint cards, which I'm going to hold up to show you because it's going to be hard to see them at a distance. The World card for the top row. So it's a lesson for the world to start over, to grow. To reevaluate the things that we believe we're supposed to achieve while on this earth. Remember, we have corruption, we have destruction, we have birth and regrowth, and a time, just to reevaluate what it is that we're supposed to be doing on this planet. Until we get the lesson right, it's just going to keep happening. Although the Wheel of Fortune, I don't believe, popped up anywhere, which is interesting. I would have maybe thought that might have popped up. So here in this row, let me just remind you, we have, backstabbing or overindulgence, foolish reckless behavior. That is all destructive in this row. And crazy, it aligns with another 3, which is the Empress. So we have 4 3s that are manifesting in this spread. And the Empress is a card of growth. It could be said of rebirth. It's not a seed, but it's after the seed sprouts and we start to see, we start to see what comes up, right? The next card is the Fool, which is already in play. So I picked this card from the Tarot del Toro, which, has a similar vibe. It's interesting that the praying mantis, is mimicking, or the devil here is mimicking, or the Fool here is mimicking the praying mantis on this row. So in this row, temper our good time, or, have fun, but temper it, be reasonable. Here we have an adherence and strictness of dogma. So this could be just to believe in something. But, when we force people to believe things that we want them to believe, that's very reckless. And then for the overall quint card, we have the female pope or the high priestess. And so we have both of the orthodox individuals, but the female pope is one of mystery. Look, she's got a halo of swords. I suppose those are swords or some kind of blades, right? So she's got a secret agenda, whereas his is like, he tries to manifest it in everybody. Hers is for those who seek her out to learn it, which is a different type of education. So to answer the question, why are people like he put on this planet with frequency? What is the lesson? Like, what's their purpose? What are we supposed to get out of it? We see two cards that are the Fool card. So I think we're supposed to pay attention to that. Not to be reckless. Not to be reckless with other people. Not to cause harm to others. Right? This row is all about harm. Right? Not to cause harm to others by reckless behavior. And this row culminates with both the Empress and the female Pope, which is interesting because this is a row of harm, of gluttony, of overindulgence, of backstabbing. And then we have two women who are traditionally nurturing and spiritual, which is very interesting that these two cards fall in line with those concepts. Kind of shakes me up a little bit. You know, it's almost as if to say the way to a good life isn't the easy way. It's to dig deep, right? It's to dig deep. It's to know your own spiritual path. Forget the path and dogma of others. Forget that, right? Well, temper your good time. I think this is continuing with this card here. Like, temper your good time, but recognize that your way of life is not necessarily the key for everyone else, and it's reckless and foolish and frankly evil. We see a little bit of the devil here, right? So it's evil to push that onto other people. It's reckless behavior. So when we learn as humans to just honor our own sensitivity and our own awareness of what we believe is out there, then we'll have accomplished what we're supposed to accomplish. But it's, you know, without the Wheel of Fortune appearing in this spread, it's almost like it's going to happen and happen and happen and happen, right? It's just going to keep happening until we get it right. And what's got to keep rehappening? Well, the corruption, the greed, the recklessness with other people's lives, forcing things down other people's throats is going to keep happening until we get it right. The most hopeful quadrant, or not even a quadrant, the two cards here are just enjoying life and tempering one's life. Because you don't want to get to the extreme where you think you have all the answers. Just enjoy life. Just enjoy life and be genuine. Because once you start insisting that everybody else enjoy the same life you have, again, is when we have the descent. This is very interesting. I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think I think if you come into this world and you're a person like that, well, see, I don't know how things work and I can't judge. I'm a human though, and humans tend to judge. Unless he's really like a supreme enlightened being who says, I'm taking one for the team, universe, because the lessons have to be taught. I don't know. I think the universe just takes advantage of individuals who just happen to fit the bill to do such a thing. And they occur with such frequency that I don't think the universe has to plant someone here to do it. Now, this doesn't look at his karma or anything, like what's next for him or anything like that. This just looks at what the heck are the reasons why people like that have to keep coming. And I think it's just for us individually to find our own spirituality and keep it secret, and keep it safe. All this other stuff is just stuff. It's just stuff. It's just stuff that gets us into trouble. It's just stuff that hurts other people. And it'll keep happening and keep happening and keep happening until we figure it out. Until next time, friends, peace, stay well, be brave, be kind.